MSU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MSU.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 2020 fall edition of the Tim Clifton Coaches Show. I'm Stuart Jolley. He's Tim Clifton. We're 6 feet apart, and welcome into what is a very interesting school year on this university campus, Tim.
Yeah, it's unique, that's for sure. And in all my years, I've never seen anything like it. And what we're going through is there's no playbook for what we're going through, and this thing changes hourly. It doesn't change daily, and it doesn't change weekly. It changes hourly, and we're just excited about having the students back on campus and trying to get back to some kind of normalcy here and see if we can't get through this fall semester.
Talking about fall semester, let's rewind a little bit. We'll go back to spring. Basketball season had just ended. I know you and your coaching staff you were already in that mode of spring practice. Got to do this, and this, and then kind of all the wheels came off of everybody's wagon nationwide. Basketball tournaments stopped mid-tournament, no less.
Right.
And universities, colleges, schools of all makes and models start sending their students home. We knew then that, okay, we've sent them home. Who knows how long this will last. We were expecting a few weeks, maybe a month or so, and then come back into some regular setup for summer. That didn't happen. I know some of us that are around line football and kind of college football in general know that, all right, it's this time, it's March, they do this, April, May, June, so on and so forth. Walk folks through, though, that may not know, or it's been a while since they've thought about it, what the normal process would have been, and then contrast that to, my goodness, we're anything but normal now.
Yeah, I mean, when we come back in January, there's a time where we get started a week after we get back, and we get into conditioning, weightlifting. We get into running. We get into 6 a.m. workouts where we're conditioning them and working on quickness and those kind of things. And then we have individuals where individual groups can go out and work out by rules. And then you get into spring practice, and you have 29 days to get 15 days in. And we went at 5:30 really. 2 mornings in a row right before spring break. And we wanted to get the 2 helmet practices in those 2 days. And then when we come back from spring break, we would get in our equipment, whether we went helmets, shoulder pads, or full gear. And they went home for spring break.
And stayed home.
And stayed home. Usually they come back, we have spring practice, we have a spring game, and then it's time to get ready for finals, and they go home. And then we usually have a group that comes back in the summer. Last summer we had a big group that came back, and they worked on campus and then worked out and to get ready for the fall. So when we sent them home, when they went home for spring break and they didn't come back, we thought, well, we might get 2 weeks in at least. And then we didn't bring them back. COVID just ran its scale and gamut. And then our plans were to bring them in June. Then when it got kicked back, you can bring them in July. And then it got kicked back, they couldn't come in at all. So we went through a spring and a summer without any of the players here, without being able to look at them and physically, without doing any workouts physically. And everybody knows what happens when you got home and they shut down any workout facilities and those things. So when we got them back here the other day, now we're going through a 0 week where we can't do anything with them. So our goal now is to condition them, get them in here and condition them starting next week. Have a couple of weeks of nothing but conditioning, find out who's in shape. I think some of them came back in shape, but some of them looked like they ate a house while they were gone. You know, they just didn't recognize one or two of them. So our goal now is to take it real slow. They hadn't done anything since March 6th. So we're going to go extremely slow, work our way back to some conditioning, and then we're going to do that for a couple of weeks, and then we'll go to individual workouts, which the rules allow us to do, and then we'll come in and we'll start spring practice, in October and finish up in November.
Now you're talking about that spring practice, October. Well, that tells me we've kind of shifted a lot of things. So what we've done is that the entire conference schedule has basically been pushed into 2021 for the majority of sports. Talk a little bit about that setup in terms of what it's going to look like then from, October on, with the games coming up next year and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the conference made a great decision. We were going to play, and we were pushing it down the road, which was really smart, because you didn't know what was going to come, and I thought we did a great job there. And then there was some more things that came out with the NCAA that pushed us to the edge where you wasn't going to be able to go play games in the fall. So we'll go like we would in the spring. We'll get 15 days in spring practice within 29-day window, and try to have a spring game.
Probably
in November. I think it's the 12th. It's on a Thursday night. That's what we're going to try to do, and play a game, on a Thursday night. And then
we're kind of on a southern hemisphere schedule.
Yeah, but what's Coach Barnett even said this morning when we were visiting, talking. He says, it's going to get pretty cold in October and November. So if we're looking at November 12th, I think is what we're looking at. It will.
Anything's possible.
It will get
because
cold.
It is 2020.
Yeah, and but it won't be the first time that we've practiced or played in snow here. But we're looking forward to that. I mean, I think our players looking forward just to being here and getting to work out. And then in the spring, right now it's we're going to play 4 conference games. Could be possibly 5, but 4 for sure. And there's still discussions how we're going to do it and those kind of things. And we're waiting on a schedule because they're waiting to do basketball and the other sports and see. But we're going to play 4, and those young men, that will not count toward their eligibility. So they can come back and play in the fall. Even usually, if you scrimmage anybody or do anything, it counts as a contest and a year of eligibility. So if I'm a freshman, I'm really excited about this because I got fall to prove myself. I get to play some games in the spring and prove myself. Then you got next fall when you play a full schedule of 11 games. And if I'm a senior, I'm excited about it, and really sophomores too and juniors. But those 2 groups, I think, ought to really be excited. If you're a senior, you're not just going to get to play 11. You got a chance to play 15.
And that's going to make a huge difference. We were talking off camera before we rolled here with the show about the challenges not only our staff had with the COVID shutdown. Most of us had the privilege, we were still kind of in the general area, but the bulk of our students, they went home. So from a what does that look like standpoint, I know their accountability when sessions are regular run of things here on campus in terms of checking in with academic support, checking in with, as you mentioned, in terms of strength and conditioning, all of those things. How do you, from a coaching standpoint, and then I'm sure you'll talk about the player standpoint, did we fly that? How was it a matter of everybody pulls up Zoom and say, okay, you need to run toward the tree 12 more times and sprint back? How did that work?
Well, me personally, I think what we did is, and the coaches, I thought, when we discussed where we were, and our thoughts were, and I personally, our thought was this: we can't worry about whether they get in shape. We can't worry about whether they are running or lifting. We got to make sure they make it academically.
That's right.
That was our key, and that was our focus. And the phone calls that were made, and we had a grid where we checked off phone calls, texts, arms information where we sent it out to every player, and then Zoom, and then phone where you actually talk to them. So we had a grid that we checked off every time we did something with the student, with the player, and just so we could look at it and say, have we contacted this guy enough? Now, you've got some guys that are phenomenal students, and when they were online, they adjusted to it fairly quickly. Then you had other guys that were really good students, but they couldn't adjust. They do it in the classroom better. So you had to find out where their weaknesses were and try to help them and encourage them. But we spent endless hours on the phone. Be honest with you, I could, if I never did another Zoom meeting in my lifetime, but we spent our whole spring semester pushing them through the academic end of it. And then we had some go to summer school, and we're doing the same thing in summer. But it's a lot easier having them here where you can go, if you have to, you can go to cafeteria, you can go to dorm room. You can find them. But when they were at home,
they can not answer the Zoom.
Yes. So there were parents that we had to talk to get involved. But I thought our staff did an unbelievable job at chasing these guys down and working with these guys. I thought, we would meet and they'd say, well, I just talked to so-and-so. And I thought our faculty did a great job. They put out reports, what the kids were missing, what they needed to get in. We had a lot of communications with the faculty and the staff, and I thought they did a phenomenal job with the students. And they had to revamp everything they did. They had to do things that they had not done a lot, because they couldn't see them face to face. But I thought they did a great job. I thought our staff did a great job, and we got them all through. And it was crazy. We got them all through, and we said, we only got maybe one that's got to go to summer school too, which is very unusual. Yes. And then they put the waiver out that you're eligible no matter what, and you're going, wow. But the key was to get them academically through, and that was all. That's what all our effort was in.
You were talking about the transition in there. I think one of the things that was good overall through all of this was everybody was basically operating with the same amount of knowledge, because professors had not done that.
That's right.
Students had not done that on a regular basis. Yes, we've all probably, whether students or your faculty or staff, we've all been through some online training of some variety, but not in terms of that is your academic delivery for the remainder of the semester. And then we rolled into it. That was the academic delivery model to starting this semester.
Yes.
So it was interesting just to, I'm in and out at campus various times and talking to various folks. It was interesting how everybody embraced the concept of we've got to make this work. We've got to take care of our students. And I think one of those good things that I heard was if you look at other schools nationwide, some of them were not as successful as our coaches were in terms of maintaining our athletes.
Yeah.
We lost very few, if any. You all, and I say you all in terms of the coaching staff at Marshall University, worked tirelessly to say, they're our kids. We're going to keep them. We're going to grow them into young men or young ladies. And we are going to make sure this is still a quality program for them, quality athletic program, even though we're not physically here. So, I mean, hats off to you and your coaches and everybody in general, because there was a lot of work going on behind the scenes, folks, that was just unbelievable. And I think our numbers prove that out.
Yeah, I think, and you know, I go back to our coaches, but our faculty again. They had to readjust, and our kids had to readjust, and they're at home, and what happened is so many of them, is they went home and they went to work. I mean, they needed income. Their families needed income, so they went back and got a job. So they were doing their job plus the academic part of it. And you know, if a professor was Zooming a class and a guy had a job or a young lady had a job or any regular student, anybody had a job, I thought they did a great job of working with them and say, you know, let's you and I, if you're working, let's talk at this time, let's get this done at this time. You're still responsible for this material, but I'll leave Zoom open for 2 hours, you know. And I think there was sacrifices on both ends for the student and the professors and the academic world there. And but I thought they did a great job, and I thought our administration did a great job. I thought Tony Floyd did a good job of keeping the students involved and trying to reach out to them during the semester. And we were sending out videos constantly and trying to send out some inspirational videos to them and those kind of things. So it was a lot of work, but it was different. It wasn't fun, to be honest with you. I tell people all the time, if the students are not here, it's not a whole lot of fun.
It
really is.
The sound of not hearing them is a bad sound. I know that seems kind of funny, but I think you and I have talked at various times. With loss of parents or something, you walk into what was a familiar house and it just has a different sound because somebody is not there.
That's right.
Or group of people are not there. Well, the group of people on campus were the students and a lot of cases faculty and staff, and it didn't feel right. It didn't sound right. And one of the greatest things over the last week or so is you start to hear the students.
Yeah.
You start to have traffic. We had signs up in Mars Hill about increased traffic. How nice. All of those aspects, they're huge. And I think so many times, one of the things I see coming out of all this is we took a lot of this for granted.
Yeah.
And hopefully folks have taken a lot of this down to heart and just internalized, like, man, we've got to work real hard to make sure we do the right thing so that we can just keep on going and get back to a normal way of doing things.
Yeah, and just trying to get them back here. And what, you know, we brought them back and we started virtual again. And I think that the hardest thing was for them to get back into some kind of routine. And the freshmen, I think it was really hard for them because they have not been through this process. So just to be able to get them on campus now, where we can get them in the building and put them in certain areas and have some study time for them and give them an opportunity to study and to get the people academically they need to get to. And so, you know, getting them here was, you know, it just juiced everybody up just to have them on campus. And you know, if you do it, if you're in it for the young people, you wanted them back here extremely bad. I mean, I just it was a strain not having them here, and knowing that some of them, when they left here, they didn't have places to go. They were trying to scramble to find places to go. So this place is home to so many of them.
It is the safe place
Yes,
for a lot of them.
it is. It's their home. And they feel comfortable here. And they know they've got help on this campus. So it is a safe place for so many of them. And it's a place where they can excel and you know, they can reach some goals that they have in life.
Some things have been different. Some things don't change with the football program. Athletic programs in general usually choose a motto, a saying, a logo, whatever you want to do. This is going to be our whatever for this season. So here we are, getting ready for spring football in October. As you get your team prepped, I saw some big, thick booklets that had different titles on them there in your office. So what's the Lions theme for this year, Coach?
You know, we started off the leadership group before they went home. We talked about next year, and theirs was, protect the brand. Let's protect the MHU diamond. Let's protect the blue and gold. Let's protect the brand. And then they also MHU forever. You know, you try to put in their minds, and our alums have really embraced MHU forever. And then when we started back, we said we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how we wanted to handle things with the players on campus right now, and how to handle COVID and all that. We reached out to them and we gave them, and this is the one I'm trying to drive home right now, is Lion Magic. And I, like I told them the other night, you bleed blue and gold. You are a lion. Now the magic part of it is make a greater individual commitment. That's what MAGIC stands for. So that greater individual commitment is wearing a mask. And you can hear maybe my Lion song
there
going
we go.
on. So it came on right time.
Good
timing. We want them to wear a mask. We want them to social distance. We want them to stay away from the parties. We want them to stay away from any gatherings that they're going to have. And stay to their rooms. But Lion Magic, we can do this if we'll do the things we're supposed to do. And so I just push out to them. It's all about Lion Magic, guys. You have got to make a greater individual commitment to your family, to you, to the institution, to the football team.
And as you mentioned in there, it may be as simple, and it is as simple, as starting with this. So whether you've got this version, we're going to mask up for you here, or the Tim Clifton version, you'll see these all over campus. Why? Because it's been proven they make a difference. And we've not only asked our athletes to help with that so much, I think what's going to happen, Tim, is that greater individual commitment is going to roll over into the general population of the students. That's what we always hope, is that the athletes lead and it will make a difference. And I see that happening. And for those of us that work with athletics, it's like, yes,
yeah,
it's a good feeling to have. It really is. From this point, we'll be back a little bit later on, in and out of, I guess, this fall/spring season.
Right. That's exactly right.
A few things we'll touch on briefly, and we'll tease a little bit with this, and we'll go into detail and maybe give you some tours along the way. For the longest time, we didn't have a weight room that was commensurate of the quality of athlete we had.
Right.
That changed over the summer, didn't it?
It did. And although Rick Baker and Monica and the president, I think they all did a great job of putting it together and bringing in new racks and new weights and new flooring, and
everything's logoed with the Mars Hill
everything's
logo.
logoed up. Yeah.
Hats
And
off
then-
to
and then-
our Lions Athletic Club
Yes,
members.
to the Lions.
They made a huge difference. So if you're not a part of that, please be a part of the team. That is one of those items in which we had formal say, when I give, I want to see what it does. Well, we're going to be showing you in the days and weeks to come in our athletic communication office. They've been really good about putting various photos and videos up about these changes, and we'll try to take a tour along the way and show you what we have.
And you know
But
what? They
it makes
got to
a huge difference.
They've got to understand that if they give, whoever they give to, that money goes to whatever they give to.
We'll make sure it's there and we can show you.
And just like in the weight room, people that gave money to the to the Lions Club. You know, they gave that money. It went toward the weight room. A lot of it did. But whatever they give, they can find out where it's going. And they can designate where it's going. And I think that's the big part of giving now. And the field, new turf, lights.
LED lights on our field.
Man.
It is spectacular. Pictures do not do it justice.
No.
I mean, you can use HD, 4K, whatever.
Yes.
But it's not as good as just being there. And we're going to try to work our way to have hopefully some night games in the spring. So it really pops. And that in and of itself is a huge movement, because I know Tim Clifton, not necessarily Mr. Night Game, but it's so good. We're going to go with that, aren't we?
Yeah, we had a game scheduled this fall.
We sure
on
did.
a Thursday night, and I would love to see us play Thursday night games. I think when we played them here in the past, they were phenomenal. And but the other night we had a team meeting, and it got started getting dark, and we flicked on the lights, and the players.
And you can do that from right here.
Yes, from the phone, and all the players are going, "Wow!" It was one
He
of those.
does have magic.
And they all raised up, and they're all looking around. I mean, it was unbelievable to see their expressions of those new lights and walking on that turf. They met in groups away from each other, and as they were walking on the turf, you could hear it. You could hear the people going, "This is fantastic! This is unbelievable!" So the excitement's there. Even amidst what we're going through right now, the excitement is there for our students.
It has been huge. And again, you mentioned, and hats off to Director of Athletics Rick Baker, University President Tony Floyd. They have been just so very good to carry on what has been the way that you and I have been used to doing for so many times, which is keep it focused on how do we help our young people, how do we build better young men and young women that are not only champions of what they learn here at this university, but they're able to take that and put it out into the world. And my goodness, as interesting as things are, it's good to know we have that Lion leadership going out into the world.
Yes, and it's amazing how many students have left Mars Hill and become successful and have become great parents, and they've just become great adults. It's just awesome to see, because you see a lot of students a lot of alums that didn't play football, but they hung around our groups and hung around some of these coaches that have been here, and they'll come back and go right to one of the coaches. I mean, we've had students come back, weren't athletes, they go right to Coach Pfeiffer's office, right to Coach Barnett's office. They do a great job of coming back and embracing MHU forever. And I think now they're starting to give, and we've got to reach out and continue to give, because what they got here, they want other students to get. And the only way you can get it is to reach out and give back to the university that you went to and you graduated from. And we just got so many fabulous alums out there. But this new deal of turf and lights and weight room and gym floors and things, and moving a health center and having a health center on campus. There's been a wave of great things that have happened, even with adversity.
Absolutely.
Like I tell our kids all the time, adversity is 10% of what happens to you. It's 90% how you respond. And I think our administration responded.
They really have.
I think our athletic department responded. I think our faculty and staff responded to this adversity. And I think that's the reason we are where we are right now, and some other institutions are not in the same spot we're in, is because we did overcome that adversity.
It's about people, and we've kept that focus.
Yeah, now we got to have some Lion magic. Now we got to have some magic to get this done.
Indeed, and we'll be back throughout the year, throughout this fall semester, to talk about spring football and things like that. I've said it before off camera. I'll say it again on camera. These young people are tremendously blessed by you, your coaching staff, all the influence that you have in making things happen for them in a positive way. From the big things to the little things, it is appreciated. Also off camera, shout out, Adam Williams is our Director of Athletic Communication, Translation, Sports Information Director back in the day when some of us did that. It has been difficult in that task this summer because there's been a routine we've always followed to do this, this, and this. Adam and his fine staff, which is Adam, have been able to put it all together and make things happen. So when you go to the Lions Athletic website and go through the things, just know that we're trying to update and keep you informed as best we can. We're trying to develop new material. We'll be doing more coaches shows and specialty things like that. If there's something you want to see, shoot us an email and let us know. We're doing alumni features. We're doing This Day in History, looking back at various things. So a lot going on, very positive, but we're embracing this changing time by holding on tightly to those things that haven't changed, which is this is such a special place because of special people like Tim Clifton. We thank you for being part of what we are doing here. Get involved with Lions Athletic Club. We can show you what we've been doing with the monies that you've been gracious to send our way, and we'll continue to do so. And if we can be of service to you during these times, reach out to one of the coaches, reach out to me and us. We'll try and do that. Thank you for being part of Lion Athletics. We'll talk with you down the road.
Hey, MSU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MSU.